Hi, welcome to Springboro Business Matters. I'm Maureen Russell Hodson, and today I am delighted to talk with Dr. Gary Beall, who is the owner of Springboro Vet Hospital and also the Springboro Chamber of Commerce 2020 Business of the Year. Congratulations!
Thank you very much. That was quite a surprise.
Really?
We had no idea. They didn't have an event this year for that. And so we were just, out of the loop completely. Most businesses this year, just with the Chamber of Commerce, no expo, nothing like that. And they called us and told us that, and they really shocked us. And we are truly honored. You're involved in the businesses of Springboro. You know some of the quality businesses in this town. Springboro is very popular and very successful. I think a lot due to the businesses in this town. And to be called the Business of the Year, quite honestly, is humbling. I'm not sure we deserve it, so thank you very much.
Well, I would think from the community's point of view, it's very well deserved and maybe a little long overdue because you've been in business for 40 years.
40 years, yeah. It doesn't seem like it. It's been a real whirlwind of really great times, and 40 years goes by awful fast. I'm not planning on leaving anytime soon. I think I'll probably die with what they call a syringe in my hand. But I will slow down a little bit because, good news, my son, Dr. Chip Beall, is a veterinarian here, and he's going to take over. So maybe another 40 years. And I've got a grandson, too, so who knows? Who knows?
So it really is a family business.
Oh, truly, yeah. Yeah, my wife, Julie, everybody knows my wife, Julie. Everybody knows her. She's heavily involved in the marketing, social media, promotional type stuff, yeah.
Okay, so we know that you're a vet hospital, but tell us what services you offer here.
Okay, that's what I've wanted to do all along. It's a veterinary hospital where we take care of sick animals, surgery, that kind of stuff, and wellness, vaccines, and everything to do with the health and well-being of your pets. That's 90% of what we do. That's why we come to work every day. But I wanted to offer, from before I started the practice, what you would call like a one-stop shop environment. So on top of the veterinary services, we have a boarding kennel. Associated with the boarding kennel, we have a daycare. The daycare is utilized by the boarding animals while your animal is boarded here and you're gone. All day long it goes out into our daycare and plays with other dogs that are not just caged up the whole time you're gone, which is a very popular thing. People come from quite distances just for that situation. But the daycare also operates independently as a daycare, like a child daycare, where pet owners will drop their animal off in the morning on their way to work and pick them up on their way home from work in the evening. That operates Monday through Friday. So there's boarding, there's daycare. We have a grooming parlor. Suzanne, our groomer, has been here like 20 years and super popular. It's a good thing to have such a good groomer, but sometimes it can take 3 or 4 weeks to get an appointment with Suzanne because she's so popular. So I would encourage you to, consider Suzanne as your groomer, but call plenty in advance because she's very booked up. Most people, when they get in finally, book their next groom when they're released from their current groom. So that's they don't have to wait again the next time. That's what I do with my own dog. I have a golden doodle that requires grooming about once a month. And we get her groomed, and I tell Suzanne, put her on the schedule for a month from now so we don't have to worry about that.
Just like getting a regular haircut.
Exactly.
You're just going to keep your appointment.
You can go to a lot of grooming parlors and get in that day, but Suzanne is special. We also have training, obedience training for dogs. Unrelated to a normal daytime veterinary hospital, we have an urgent care here. It's not an emergency room, it's like an urgent care for people, and it does close at 10 o'clock at night on the weekday and 8 o'clock at night on the weekend, so it's not 24/7 emergency room, but it can take care of your first aid type things that maybe didn't require a major emergency room visit. So we have an urgent care. Kind of an unknown thing that we do here, we have a school here. It's called the Veterinary Assistant School, where people that are interested in getting into the veterinary industry but don't really want to go to veterinary school. That took me 8 years of undergraduate and 4 years of vet school, and a lot of money to do, and a lot of people just don't want to make that commitment. A veterinary assistant is another choice. So we have a school here that gives a certificate that you are a certified veterinary assistant. That is not real well known. You can look at that on the internet. It's part of our services, how to apply for that school. It's like a trade school. So there's an application process, and it's a good course. So those are the kind of things we do here.
So when you were talking about the fact that you train vet techs or people...
Not vet techs, they're veterinary assistants.
Assistants, okay.
And there's a difference here. I want to not correct you, but make sure
Yeah,
people know.
please explain the difference.
Veterinary technicians, that's a 2-year college program. It's offered at Sinclair. That's not here.
Okay.
That's much more expensive and much more intense. And that is a licensed thing through the state of Ohio. I would equate that to a registered nurse in human medicine.
Okay.
Our school is for veterinary assistants, and it's not a licensed program, it's a certificate program, like a trade school.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
And I would imagine you, like most of us when we're little and someone says, what do you want to be when you grow up? Everybody loves animals. Everybody wants to be a veterinarian. You stuck with it for a long time, and you were saying 8 years of college as well.
Can I just say that it's a gift and it's a calling? And I get a little bit emotional about that because everybody does want to be a vet, but not everybody can be a vet, because it is not necessarily all day long loving and playing on cute little puppies and kittens. That's not at all what it is. It's actually a healing gift. Veterinarians are taught how to heal. You can be taught the protocols, but you can't teach that sense, that sixth sense that something's just not right here. Let's figure this out. I'm not a dog whisperer, by the way, but I do have that sense. I have it as a gift from God. And clients can tell me what they think is wrong with their dog, why they came in. But I can walk in a room and say, that's not what the problem is. The problem is here. And we go that direction. So that's why everybody that says they want to be a vet is not a vet, because they realize really quickly that it's more than they think. Not only time commitment and financial commitment, but just the job description is not what you think it is. It's a difficult profession. It's very rewarding for me. I wouldn't have stayed in it for 40 years had it not been, but it takes a special gift. So yeah.
Well, and obviously among the many qualities, you talk about the knowledge, the compassion, 40 years commitment. So obviously this really is your true calling.
It truly is, yeah.
You picked this location here on West Central Avenue. You've been here 40 years.
It didn't look like this 40 years ago,
Right.
guys. It was different when we came 40 years ago. I'm from West Carrollton. I graduated from West Carrollton High School, and my wife is from Wilmington, Ohio. She graduated from Clinton Massey High School, and we got married and had a child in vet school. My daughter Nicole, most of you know Nicole Beall too. She was born while we were in vet school, and when we came, we wanted to come back home. Well, where is home? Is that West Carrollton or is that Wilmington? Springboro's right between them. So we kind of got a map out and started looking at distances and things, and we decided on Springboro. And I tell you what, that decision, you would say right now, oh, you're in a prime location and stuff. 40 years ago, that was not the case. It was like one stoplight at 73 and 741. Everything else was fields. It wasn't even a city at that time. It was, what do they call it, a town?
A village?
A village. It was a village at that time, the village of Springboro. And the government was not like it is now. The schools were not city schools. They were not incorporated or whatever that is. That we went through all that with the schools. So our decision was made basically on location to what's really important to us, family. And I think we got lucky and were blessed that Springboro turned out to be like one of maybe the greatest cities in the state of Ohio.
Well, you both, I know, jumped in with both feet, I'm sure, and really
We did.
planted yourself here.
We did. Our kids went to school here, both of our kids. My grandson, Gage, he's 5. He starts kindergarten here in Springboro next year. So we're Springboro people. Yeah.
Well, we're glad that you are.
Thank you.
Let's talk about when a family is maybe considering getting a pet, getting a dog. What types of things should someone think about before they go out and adopt one or however they might come across one?
Okay. I'm going to tell you a couple things. One of them is difficult to talk about, but it needs to be talked about because it's the biggest heartbreak that we have here. I'd like to prevent that, okay? First of all, you need to decide what kind of dog is going to fit your family. I think you should consult a veterinarian. You might not have a veterinarian at the time, but a veterinarian, we'd love to talk to you and just help you before you even get a pet to make sure you get the right pet. Like, you want a small pet? Do you want a large pet? Do you want a pet that's that is hypoallergenic or doesn't cause you to have allergies? Or do you want an active dog? You want a guard dog? There's all kinds of categories of dogs. And if you get the wrong one, actually you won't keep it very long. It'll end up being adopted out. About 30% of dogs that come in here, new puppies, a year later, they're not with that home because it just didn't work out. They didn't think it out properly. But one of the other reasons why it's just not a good match between the type of breed and the family, the heartbreak for us, and this is the hard thing to talk about, is money. There is insurance you can get, but not a lot of people get it. It's really, veterinary medicine is not like human medicine. It's pay as you go. And if you have an emergency, your dog gets hit by a car, for example, it happens all the time, you could have a $5,000 to $10,000 veterinary bill with surgery and everything very easily. And our experience is most people don't have that kind of disposable income. And if they do, it's not that they don't want to spend it on their pet. So one of the things I think people should do to prepare, in answer to your question, before they get a pet, is make sure that they are financially able to support that pet for the next 10 to 15 years. We recommend savings accounts with the pet's name, not on the account, but designated for the pet, a health savings account for pets. And I like to see people have a $10,000 balance in that account. Not that I don't want their money. I want to take care of their pet. And the only way we can take care of their pet, there is a financial burden with that. So if you're prepared for it, you can do that. A couple other things to help you in that regard. I definitely think you should have a savings account. I think you should consider health insurance for your pet. I have, believe it or not, I'm the vet, and I have health insurance on my own dog. Her name is Rosie. A lot of people know Rosie. I have a health insurance policy on her. Springboro Veterinary Hospital is the veterinary hospital of Blue, the Springboro police dog.
Yes.
We're Blue's veterinarian, and I have a health insurance policy on Blue. I have it on him. My children's dogs all have health insurance policies. That's something to consider. And another thing to consider is a credit card called Care Credit. And there's another one called Scratch Pay. We accept both of those here. And you sign up for it ahead of time and you get approved for certain amounts of money, and an emergency comes up, you just put it on that Care Credit card and you have to make payments to that, but you can get the services you need when you need them. Because I said the heartbreak for us is if we know what we can do and we know we can help, but if the client won't let us or is unable to do it, then there's a heartbreak involved.
So I don't think a lot of us think about that whole financial aspect or the taking care of. I think we think about how cute the little puppy is and putting him in a little basket and so forth. Lots to think about before you
that
get
number
pets.
that I used of 10,000 is the research has been done, and if a dog lives to be 15 years old and you do all the record keeping over the course of 10 years or 10 or 15 years, you're typically going to spend about $10,000 on your pet in the life of this. And that includes food and leashes and collars and all that, and boarding kennels and stuff. But I mean, it's a financial commitment that needs to be considered.
And when we're talking about pets, your patients are typically cats and dogs.
Yes, although if you stay here long enough here, I think at 11 o'clock we're going to be seeing a parakeet.
Is that right?
We see everything except for the farm animals, and as you were talking earlier, we take mission trips to Africa, and we'll see livestock when we go over there. But here at Springboro Veterinary Hospital, pets. Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about your services, we've talked about your business. Let's talk a little bit about your community commitment, because you really are, when you talk about 40 years here in the community, you and Julie both are such a part of who Springboro is all about.
That's such an easy answer. Think about it. I, Gary Beall, as just a person, am nothing. I'm nobody, I'm nothing. And I have no business unless somebody walks through that door with an animal that they trust us to take care of. Well, who are those people that walk through the door? Springboro people. These are Springboro people. For us not to love those people in the community, it just makes no sense. I mean, it's like if they're going to support us, I'm going to support them with their Little League baseball teams, their soccer teams, going to sponsoring the Art Fest on Main Street in Springboro. I mean, literally sponsoring anything that happens in Springboro. They always come to us, and we always support, like 100%, because it's a give back. I just think it's the right thing to do. And I don't understand a business that wouldn't do that, but that's just me.
Well, you're a wonderfring example of giving back to the community.
Well, thank you.
I want to have a little bit of fun with you now.
Sure.
If you'll be willing to answer a few questions, we'd like to call them the Springboro Quick Five, and we'll start. Just give us the first answer that comes to the top of your head.
Uh-oh.
All right. If I weren't a veterinarian, I would be?
A pastor.
I find the business climate in Springboro to be?
Fantastic.
The best thing about my job is?
The fact that I get to deal with the Springboro people that have an issue with their pet and try to and mostly correct that problem.
My favorite place in Springboro is?
My family room at my house.
And one word that describes Springboro is?
Springboro is a loving community.
Very nice. Well, thank you for spending some time this
I
morning.
guess we're not supposed to shake hands.
We can do an elbow.
Do an elbow bump.
Been delightful to talk with you and learn more about your business. We really appreciate all that you do to keep our community going.
Well, you keep doing good in Springboro too.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And for more information, you can visit their website, which is springborovet.com.
Correct.
Right? There's
Correct.
lots of great information on that. For more information about the city of Springboro, visit our website, which is ci.springboro.oh.us. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Should we bark as we go off?
Yes. Thanks a lot.